I thank you very much for accepting that we come. I know that it was a little bit of a late invitation, but thank you, Shaykh Omar, for accepting us on such a short notice. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all of us here and bless our gathering. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us all together under the banner of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'll be very brief. Everybody is expecting some entertainment and I'm not the entertainment.
Il a dit, je serai très bref, que Dieu nous pardonne tous et merci sur un délai aussi court d'avoir pu nous recevoir ici à Montréal. Et tout le monde attend un peu de mouvement et je ne vais pas être celui qui va ralentir ce entertainment.
I am here just like you to enjoy myself. Inshallah, will be a very beautiful night tonight with Sayyidina Anouar and his group and the others, inshallah, entertaining all of us until tomorrow, inshallah, we can meet again.
Et moi aussi, je suis aujourd'hui pour me délecter de Sayyidina Anouar et du groupe qui vont chanter les louanges au prophète sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Et jusqu'à ce que nous puissions peut-être nous retrouver à nouveau demain.
We drove today from Toronto. And I remembered something that Maulana Shaykh Nazim, may Allah bless his soul, our teacher, our grand Shaykh, has said. And I want to share what I have learned from you while we were taking this trip.
Nous avons conduit de Toronto et pendant qu'on venait, je me souvenais de quelque chose que Maulana Shaykh Nazim il avait dit. Et alors, je voudrais partager cela avec vous.
We are all trying to be good ones.
Adieu.
We are all trying to follow the path of our shuyukh, of our teachers. No matter which shaykh we belong to, we are all trying to reach to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Nous essayons tous d'être de bonnes personnes et de suivre le chemin que nous ont enseigné nos chers. Et nous espérons que nous puissions tous atteindre la présence du prophète sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Because everything that is beautiful, there is somebody that made it.
Parce que pour toute chose qui est belle, il y a quelque chose qui l'a mise en scénario.
And that one that has created this beauty that we enjoy, especially in the summer and for the skiers, of course, in the winter.
Et celui qui a créé cette magnificence du monde dans lequel nous sommes, que ce soit en été ou en hiver, parce qu'il y a des gens qui aiment l'hiver.
I'm not a skier, so that's why we enjoy the spring and the summer. But the one that has created this beauty has created something more beautiful than it.
Celui qui a créé toutes ces merveilles de la création a créé quelque chose de bien plus beau encore.
And that beauty that we are after, the beauty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, that is more beautiful than what we are seeing in this world.
Et cette beauté après laquelle nous sommes, nous courons, qui est beaucoup plus magnifique que celle de ce monde.
To reach that beauty, we all know in our culture that we have to follow a shaykh, a guide.
Et pour atteindre cette magnificence, nous savons dans nos traditions que nous devons toujours suivre un guide ou un chef ou un mouchid.
And when we choose a guide, he might say, leave everything and come with me.
Et lorsque nous choisissons un guide, peut-être qu'il nous dira, laissez tout et venez avec moi.
And our grand Shaykh, Maulana Shaykh Nazim, has said, the reason that I don't tell you to leave everything and come with me is that you're going to say, how am I going to eat?
Et la raison pour laquelle Maulana Shaykh disait, je ne vous dis pas de tout laisser et de venir avec moi, parce que vous allez me dire après comment je vais manger.
How my children are going to live and eat. What am I going to eat?
Comment mes enfants vont faire pour manger?
He said, that's why, Maulana Shaykh Nazim has said, that's why I did not tell that to everybody. I only tell it to a few people.
Et c'est pour ça que je ne l'ai pas dit à tout le monde, juste à quelques individus.
And the ones that accept that, Grand Shaykh has given a story of a Shaykh and a Murid, and I'm going to tell this story here, inshallah, today.
Et pour ceux qui ont accepté de suivre, Grand Cheikh avait raconté une histoire que je vais vous partager.
Sayyidina Shaykh Abdul Khaliq al-Ghujdwani, one of the Grand Shaykhs of Tariq al-Naqshbandiyya.
L'un des cheikhs sur ce chemin, Cheikh Abdul Khaliq al-Ghujdwani,
had a Murid, and he said, "Oh my Murid, you have to go into seclusion for 7 years."
Il avait un disciple qui l'a astreint à la seclusion pour 7 années.
Because at that time, this is almost 500, 600 years ago, at that time, there was no way to see the beauty that we are talking about except through seclusion, through khalwa for 7 years.
Il n'y avait pas de moyen dans ce temps-là d'atteindre cette magnificence, excepté à travers de longues seclusions.
To see that beauty, you have to leave this beauty.
Car pour voir la beauté spirituelle, il faut quitter et abandonner celle de la terre.
That is the condition in tariqah, that you leave the beauty of this world, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will substitute it with the most beautiful beauty that you didn't even imagine of.
Et c'est une des conditions dans ce monde où est-ce qu'on doit laisser la beauté de ce monde et Allah la remplacera par quelque chose de sublime.
And in the heavenly messages, we hear that it is Jannah, it is paradise.
Et dans les messages célestes, on parle de paradis, de Jannah.
Paradise. But there is something even better than paradise, and that's what we shoot for. We want to get to the highest place we can get. So this Murid, he went into seclusion, and Sayyidina Abdul Khaliq al-Ghujdwani told him, the only way that you can take these veils from the heart, and the only way that you're going to leave the darkness of the physical world and enter into the light of the spiritual world, is to go through this cave for 7 years.
Et alors son maître lui avait dit, la seule chose d'atteindre cette réalité, c'est de rentrer dans cette caverne pendant 7 années pour te purifier.
Maulana Shaykh has said that Ruhaniyatul Rasul, the spirituality of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, came to Sayyidina Shaykh Abdul Khaliq al-Ghujdwani and said,
Maulana Shaykh disait que la spiritualité du prophète sallallahu alayhi wa sallam s'est manifestée au Shaykh.
And he said, your son, your murid, that disciple, that student, has so much power that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to him.
Ton disciple, il a tellement de puissance que Allah lui a donné.
And your murid does not need to be in seclusion for 7 years. He only needs to learn 2 things.
Il n'a pas besoin d'être en séclusion pour 7 ans. Il a juste besoin d'apprendre 2 choses.
And honestly speaking, that is my hope. That we don't have to go into seclusion for 7 years, but to know 2 things.
Et honnêtement, moi aussi, c'est mon espoir que nous n'aurions pas à rentrer en séclusion pour 7 ans.
When I heard Maulana Shaykh Nazim talk about that, I said, inshallah, without going through the seclusion of 7 years, we can reach the beauty, to see the beauty of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam by keeping 2 things.
Et quand Maulana Shaykh Nazim nous a dit cela, je me suis dit, sans entrer en séclusion, alors peut-être pourrions-nous atteindre cet état d'extase.
The first thing that we have to understand, and I'll give it through the example that Maulana Shaykh Nazim said, that Shaykh, that Grand Shaykh, Maulana Shaykh Abdul Khaliq al-Ghujdwani, went to the khalwa of the murid and said, oh my son, come walk with me. The following day, one day he stayed in that khalwa.
Et parce qu'une fois qu'il est rentré en séclusion, le lendemain, le chef l'a fait sortir et il a dit, viens marcher avec nous.
They entered into a garden and they came by a river, the Shaykh and the murid. They were having a walk, a stroll, they were just walking around.
Ils étaient en train de marcher et sont venus à proximité d'une rivière.
When they came to the river, a frog a frog came out.
Et alors une grenouille sauta en dehors de la rivière.
The Shaykh is teaching the murid what he needs to know. So this frog came out and he licked the sand 3 times.
Et cette grenouille sortit et elle lécha le sable 3 fois.
And the Shaykh said, "Oh my son, do you know why the frog licked the sand 3 times?"
Et le maître demanda à son disciple, sais-tu pourquoi la grenouille a fait cela?
He said, "No, my Shaykh, I don't know. Please tell me."
Mon maître dit, dis-le-moi.
He said, "This frog, every 24 hours, comes out from the river, from the water, licks the sand 3 times only, because he is afraid if he licks it too many times, then the sand will finish."
La grenouille ne vient que pour lécher 3 fois parce qu'elle craint que si elle le fait plus, davantage, alors le sable disparaîtra.
The murid laughed. He couldn't hold himself. He started to laugh. He said, "The mountains of the world are full of sand. How can it finish?"
Alors le disciple rigola et dit, les montagnes de ce monde sont pleines de sable, comment est-ce que cela pourrait finir?
The Shaykh used his power, according to what our teacher has said, and he made the frog speak.
Le Shaykh utilisa son pouvoir et il fit que la grenouille se mit à parler.
The frog started to laugh at the murid.
Et elle se mit à rire du disciple.
He said, "I am laughing at you because last night, all night long, you didn't sleep thinking where would my family eat from."
Je rigole de toi parce que hier soir, tu n'arrêtais pas de penser qu'est-ce que ma famille va manger.
You were going through your belongings, you were going through your land, your properties, and you were saying, if they sell everything, they will only live 5 years. How are they going to survive 7 years? I'm in seclusion. He said, you spent your whole night thinking of that.
Tu as pensé toute la nuit qu'est-ce que ta famille allait manger alors que tu allais aller en seclusion cette année.
He said, I am right when I think that if I lick too much sand, the sand will finish because the world is limited. But you are claiming to be a believer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you don't know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has rizq, khaza'in or rizq. He has treasuries of rizq that never ends. Who should laugh at the other?
Moi, tu ris de moi alors que ce monde est fini, nous le savons toi et moi. Alors que toi, tu t'inquiètes, alors que le Seigneur est celui qui subsiste à tous les besoins.
Today, we came, subhanallah al-ali al-azim, it was a lesson. We left late because,
aujourd'hui, nous sommes arrivés, nous avons quitté très tard Toronto.
We left late. Because we left late, we did not stop at any place to eat.
Nous ne nous sommes arrêtés nulle part pour manger parce qu'on était en retard.
We were saying to ourselves, where are we going to eat?
Et nous nous demandions où est-ce qu'on allait manger.
And honestly speaking, I have no Canadian money.
Et je n'ai même pas eu le temps de faire du change pour de l'argent canadien.
But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created friends of mine that put me on that chair and fed me and fed my brothers that were with me in the car.
Allah nous a créé des amis qui nous ont reçus, qui nous ont assis à cette table, moi et mes compagnons, et nous avons tous mangé.
So a true servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send to him from his servants to help him with his food and with his rizq, not only him, but his brothers and children and families and all the rest. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that takes care of the rizq. He said, oh my son, you have to learn this. Don't say, where am I going to eat? And don't say, how are my children going to eat?
Un véritable serviteur, toujours il est en confiance sur son Seigneur.
Shaykh, I spoke for 10 minutes. He said, my son, this is the lesson, one of the lessons that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wants you to learn. That if you are in the tariqah, if you are Ahlul tariqah, If you are moving in tariqah, and you say, where am I going to eat? That is not right. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gather you with friends of yours, with beautiful servants of His, to share with you a dish, and to share with your children a dish. And you'll not be hungry, they will not be hungry. You don't have to go into seclusion for 7 years. You have to understand that if I have no money in my pocket, I will find my rizq ready for me when I arrive at that special place. This is the murid.
Nous devons savoir que le véritable étudiant sur le chemin de la quête, il repose sur son Seigneur. Il ne se questionne pas toujours qu'est-ce que je vais manger ou qu'est-ce que mes enfants vont manger. Et il sait que son Seigneur mettra toujours quelque chose sur son chemin.
The first thing that shaitan does in a human heart is to put doubt in rizq, to put doubt in sustenance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not provide for you.
Le premier doute que Shaitan met dans le cœur des gens, c'est de mettre le doute qu'ils n'auront pas assez de subsistance.
When we have doubt in Al-Razzaq, when we have doubt in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He is the one that is capable to provide, then we lose our iman.
Si nous avons un doute sur le fait qu'il va fournir pour nous, alors nous perdons notre foi.
So me and my brothers that came and my sisters that came from Toronto are a living example that rizq is provided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Ceci est un exemple pour nous rappeler que c'est Allah qui fournit notre subsistance pour les frères et sœurs qui sont venus avec nous.
Why? Because we love His awliyaullah.
Parce que nous aimons ces awliya.
When we love awliyaullah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make people love you.
Car lorsqu'on aime les amis d'Allah, les awliya, alors Allah fera que les gens vous aiment.
That's why Ahlul Turuq, they love awliyaullah.
C'est pour ça que les gens de Tariqa, ils aiment les awliya.
When we love the saints, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make people love us.
Lorsque nous aimons les personnes de sainteté, Allah fait que les gens nous aiment.
So the first lesson that he wanted to learn, and the frog was telling him, don't doubt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's treasuries.
Et cette première leçon était que la grenouille qui enseignait, ne doute pas à propos des trésors de ton Seigneur.
Then he said, come with me, walk with me, my son. I want to teach you the second lesson. First he said, did you understand, my son? He said, yes, master, I understood that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide for me as long as I am in His way.
Et alors il lui dit, marche avec moi pour la suite, mon fils.
And for my family. He said, walk with me. They started to walk. They came across an apple tree. He said, my son, take this rock and hit the apple tree. The murid picked up a rock and hit the apple tree.
Et alors qu'ils marchaient, ils arrivèrent à un pommier. Le chef lui demanda de frapper le pommier avec un gouttière, ce qu'il fit.
When he hit the apple tree, a branch broke off.
Et une branche se cassa.
And on the branch, there were 12 sweet apples.
Et il y avait 12 pommes sur cette branche.
He said, look, my son, you have hurt this tree. You have injured this tree.
Il lui a dit, regarde mon fils, tu as endommagé cet arbre.
But in return, this tree gave you 12 sweet apples for you to enjoy yourself with.
Et en retour, l'arbre t'a donné 12 merveilleuses pommes.
When you become like that tree, when people harm you and injure you, when you give them back 12 sweet apples, when you give them back benefit, there where people will benefit from you and you become a saint to benefit people around you.
Lorsque tu deviendras comme ça, alors que les gens te font mal, tu retournes des douceurs, alors tu deviendras.
When you're able, oh my son, when you're able to tolerate the otherness, the harm of people, the difficulty that comes from people, and in return, you don't give them difficulty back. You don't give them harm back. Rather, you make them benefit from you, then this is what you need to learn as a second thing.
Si tu es capable d'endurer la peine que les humains t'infligent et que tu ne retournes rien excepté de bonnes choses, alors cela sera ta deuxième leçon.
So When awliyaullah, they move in the way of Allah, when they move among people, they have two things in their mind. One, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide for me. Second, I will make people benefit from me, never give them harm.
Et alors, cela doit être les deux choses que nous devons apprendre lorsque j'avance. Mon Seigneur fournira pour moi, et si jamais les gens me font des choses, jamais je ne retournerai accepter que le bien.
So he said, did you understand, my son, that you can never ever hurt anybody? He said, yes, master. Then he opened to his son, to his murid, the powers that are in his heart. There are locks in our hearts.
Et alors, as-tu compris? Oui, mon maître, je lui ai ouvert ces fameux pouvoirs qui sont dans le cœur, qui sont soufflés.
And these locks are only opened by a shaykh, not by ourselves.
Et ces serrures du cœur ne peuvent être ouvertes que par des guides, pas par nous.
No matter how much prayer we do, meditation we do, if we are by ourselves, these locks will not open in our hearts.
Peu importe la quantité de méditation, de prière, si nous sommes tout seuls, ces clés ne seront pas données.
So he opened these locks in the hearts of that murid, and that murid was able to see through 7 heavens, and he was able to see down 7 earths. He was seeing everything in creation.
Et une fois que cela fut ouvert à son cœur, il était capable de voir à travers les 7 cieux et à travers les 7 terres.
It's all by ishara, by pointing from the shaykh. He just does this, and he opens everything for you.
Juste sous l'autorité d'un frère, il peut tout.
So, by these two things, this murid reached the station of perfection, maqam al-kamal. 2 things.
Et alors, avec ces deux accomplissements, il a atteint la station de la perfection.
This is our way. Our way is to reach maqam al-kamal, the station of perfection.
C'est ça le chemin du serviteur, d'atteindre la perfection.
And it's not by reading books and memorizing hadith and by reading volumes and claiming that we know ilm and we know this and we know that. No. By these 2 things.
Ce n'est pas avec l'acquisition de grandes connaissances, non. C'est sur des choses très simples comme, par exemple, acquérir ces 2 choses fondamentales.
First, not to have doubts in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second, not to harm His creation.
Le premier, de ne pas avoir de doute sur ce que notre Seigneur nous donnera. Et la deuxième chose, de ne pas faire de mal à sa création.
So you believe in the Creator and you love the creation.
Vous croyez au Créateur et vous aimez la création.
And that's what's needed to open the powers that all human beings have in their hearts.
C'est des choses comme cela qui sont nécessaires pour ouvrir la puissance qu'il y a dans eux.
So again, believe in the Creator and love the creation. Thank you for listening, and I will enjoy my night, and also I will let you enjoy your night. Thank you again for coming. Inshallah, tomorrow we have an event with Shaykh Omar at his place, right in your Zawiyah. Everybody is welcome to come, inshallah. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.